let's get into the headlines and let's see what the headlines across Nigerian newspapers are this morning. And to make sense of all of this, I have my regulars on a Wednesday like this. Tunji Abdulhamid is here. Tunji, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Great. And we have Jide Ologun here as well. Jide, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome. Great. Now let's begin with Leadership newspaper. Leadership newspaper says, as Buni finally takes charge, INEC confirms attendance of APC NEC meeting tomorrow. Right? Party pegs chairmanship form at 20 million naira. Drama in court as lawyers fight over representation in APC suit to vacate court order. And while we're training convention protocol officers, Ganduje is saying, this is the governor of Kano State. Leadership newspaper. Now, Blueprint says Buni's CECPC bounces back. APC kickstarts convention activities. Mustafa Al-Makura pick 20 million naira chairmanship forms each. A deputy chair aspirant to pay 10 million naira, others 5 million naira. Well, it's all right. That's a Blueprint newspaper. Of course, this we'll talk about as we get along. Daily Trust is next. APC crisis. Buni's camp bounces back as activities for conventions begin. All right, and party pegs chairmanship form at 20 million naira. Secretary 10 million naira. Lawyers bicker over representation as court decides suit tomorrow. And confusion over NEC meeting. All right, that's what you see on the front page of the Daily Trust. From there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. Buni's men tighten hold on APC. Akpanudo Dehe returns to office. And convention remains shaky. Court fails to lift injunction. And NEC holds Thursday. APC raises cost of chairmanship form to 20 million naira as aspirants snub consensus. Okay. All right, all that on the front page of the Punch newspaper. The Daily Sun is next now. And it says APC chairmanship aspirants to pay 20 million naira. Buni Akpanudo Dehe take firm control of party secretariat. And Bello expected in office. And CECPC thanks INEC for intervention, says March 26 is sacrosanct. Okay, all that on the front page of the Daily Sun newspaper there. Nigerian Express is next. APC's bumpy rides to 2023. Intrigues as governors battle for ruling party's soul. That's what Nigerian Express have. Okay, Nigerian Express. The Nigerian Tribune is next, and it says PDP may die if he loses 2023 polls. Atiku warns. And says he denied Tinubu VP slot in ACN. Dokbesi raises alarm over plot to deny returnee PDP members party tickets. And IU PDP governors wade into Obaseki Wike crisis. Okay, all that on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. The Nation newspaper is next. Confusion in PDP over plot to stop Atiku Saraki Tambuwal. A clash over returnee defectors rocks National Caucus meeting. Ex-VP 2023 poll, our last chance. Okay, that's what the Nation newspaper has. Energy crisis. OPS, NLC, reps, others warn. Okay, local refining, the solution. OPS is saying this. On that organized private sector. Nigerians can't continue like this, NLC warns, and says there's limit to what people can tolerate. It has a lot of riders there on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Okay, from there let's go to The Guardian. The Guardian says tougher days as energy costs trigger fresh round of inflation. The headline inflation rose marginally to 15.7% in February. Figures deceptive, politically influenced, Owo insists. And experts seek removal of import duties on imported petroleum products. Resuscitate moribund refineries to boost availability. Federal government is being urged here. And last year's trade deficit hits 1.94 trillion naira, 96% higher than that of 2020. All that on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, looking at economic indices there as it relates to energy. Nigerian economy, this Nigeria says Nigerian economy, inflation hits 3-month high at 15.7%. Fuel crisis, Russia-Ukraine war trigger price increases. Okay, this is another issue that will be of interest to a lot of Nigerians. You talk about inflation, it affects everyone. From there, let's go to Daily Times. Daily Times says federal government to borrow more to fund petrol subsidy. Federal government to borrow more to fund petrol subsidy. That's Finance Minister is saying this. Said the financial mechanism needed to strengthen inter-regional trade. Okay, we'll certainly look at this as well. From there, let's go to Business Day. Nigeria's economy unravels at worst time ahead elections. Okay, that's a big story on the front page of Business Day. News Direct is next, and it says 2.6 trillion naira unremitted funds. Reps begin probe of 77 oil firms, threaten arrest of defaulters. Reps begin probe of 77 oil firms over 2.6 trillion naira unremitted funds, threaten arrest of defaulters, project fund recovery for debt servicing. All right, that's by JP Amila saying that the Speaker of House of Representatives. National economy is the last one we're looking at now. Global gas supply disruption, opportunity for Nigeria's additional foreign exchange earnings. Experts are saying this. All right, global gas supply disruption, opportunity for Nigeria's additional foreign exchange earnings. Experts are saying this. All right. Now, some experts are saying that the issues in the global disruption of oil and gas, will have adverse effect on Nigeria. Others are looking at the opportunities that has to offer. So, all of these things to learn as we get along. All right, gentlemen, let's look at some of the issues in here. Let me start with the issue on this Nigeria. This Nigeria says, talking about Nigerian economy, inflation hits 3-month high at 15.7%. Fuel crisis, Russia-Ukraine war trigger price increase. And if you look at the details on how these things are panning out, it tells you that we're going into an election year where a lot of people do a lot of spendings and money's flowing all over the place. Let me start with you, Jide. I wonder what you make of this. If inflation is rising at this point, the months ahead, what do you see?
Obviously, it should be tougher if we don't put in place the control mechanism. And talking about the control mechanism, where are they? As we speak now, there are foundational causes of our own peculiar problems in Nigeria. For instance, the national grid has collapsed. You know the role of electricity, empowering the business sector of manufacturers, providing jobs, activating the economy. So that is on one side. Our refineries are moribund, so we cannot even save money. In fact, right now, the World Bank has projected that we need about 4 trillion naira per annum if we want to sustain the subsidy we have. You know, we have various issues, the fuel scarcity, the different kinds of issues. So how are we going to scale down the rising inflation? Some who are adding value to the economy are migrating from the country to another country where there is enabling environment. And again, look at the policy direction. Instead of paying attention to these critical needs of the people, we are busy with politicking, you know, and that's why I said, are we putting anything in place? Right now, you know the price of crude oil in the international market, driven by the Russia-Ukraine war. How are we going to benefit when we cannot even meet the OPEC production requirement? So we do not appear like a serious country. And again, talking about infrastructure that can even help us to scale down on some of the expenditure that we hit the people. Even our president is abroad for medical attention and running an offshore government. You see, so we have, see, ASU has extended the strike. So, and you know what that means? That means students who should be in school are going to be with their parents. And when you are idle, you eat more than when you are busy. So you find all these struggling elements that we add hardship to the economy of the people. And if we want to talk from the angle of faith, we say God will make a way. But God makes way for those who are wise. You know, he told Isaac in Genesis 26 verse 12 that go and sow. And Isaac went ahead to sow. And right now, this morning, to anchor this, we have read this morning that we have to go borrowing to sustain subsidy. Proverbs 22:7 says that the rich rules over the poor and that the borrower is a slave to the lender. So when will we as a nation maximize the overflowing resources God has given us? So this is bad governance, as far as I am concerned.
All right. Daily Times put it very bare there. Federal government to borrow more to fund petrol subsidy in the same, space where Nigerians are saying, take away subsidy and let us use that. In fact, the government had promised at different times. At times they said there's no subsidy. Okay, there's subsidy somehow, subsidy cannot be removed. No, it needs to be removed, and so on. So there's a back and forth whether we all understand what this subsidy is and why it should be there, why it shouldn't be there, and all of that. But it seems subsidy has come to stay. But not so many Nigerians are benefiting from it. What do you make?
Yeah, you see, it's unfortunate that we are here despite what God has given us. We have been blessed by God. We have all the natural resources and we have so many other things that other countries don't have. Those countries that are doing well today, like Saudi Arabia and co, they don't have what we have. And I don't know why we are here. We are here today because we don't have our foundation is very, very faulty and very bad. No vision, nothing. And then unfortunately, those in government are not thinking about the country. They are not thinking about planning to ensure that we are out of this quagmire or conundrum or whatever. They are just doing things the way they do. You see, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. When you don't admit reality, you fail. Because you see, initially this government was not able to tackle this situation just because they did not come clean initially. The president said, why we was outside the government, said there was no subsidy. Who is paying who? And when the government came in, rather than admit the fact that, look, there's something called subsidy, maybe, probably, but they tried to corner it and say they call it under recovery or something like that. So that's so to say, subsidy. But let's even assume we are paying this subsidy or we're not paying subsidy. If we are paying subsidy, the problem we're having is this. People are just making money from us. We are being told we are consuming how many liter every day. Who determines that? How do you know? How do we ascertain that that is exactly what it determines? I don't believe we are consuming up to 70 million liters a day. I don't believe that. And there's no way we can do that. I remember the former Senate president raised the issue at that time, that it's not possible for us to consume about 25 liters or 30 liters at that time. But today now we are being told we are consuming 70 million liters. And who determines that? How do we know when you don't know how much crude or how much whatever you even import? How do you ascertain what you pay as subsidy? How do you ascertain how do you quantify it? How do you determine it? So this is where the problem is. People are just making money out of us without even looking for anything. So I think until we decide, the only solution to this issue of subsidy or no subsidy is for us to have our own refinery. And nobody is planning about that. Nobody is thinking about that. We are just waiting for Dangote, an individual who can tomorrow say, I'm no longer interested in this business. And what will happen?
Yeah, but the point there is that's when they say that government has no business in business. Isn't this part of it? Many of the refineries in the United States and across the world are privately owned.
I don't believe in that. The government don't have business in business. Okay. They have. And even if they don't have, they have the right to. They must create an enabling environment for the business to sustain, to survive. The government must do business. The government is a business itself. So there are different types of business that you can do as a government that will benefit your people and that will make life more easier for your people.
Okay.
In other countries we are present.
All right.
Most of the devices are owned by the government.
Unfortunately, we don't have all the time, but let me throw this in so we can just get your reaction to on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Part of the headline there says Mustafa Al-Makura pick 20 million naira chairmanship forms each. Deputy chair aspirant to pay 10 million naira and others 5 million naira and all of that. We've been talking about the cost of governance and the cost of all of these things. And this is, someone will say this is where it starts from. What do you say to this?
It's a different ball game in the political arena. You know, they will tell you that even if all I have is 1 million, my friends will contribute the 20 million. But we know that politics in Nigeria is a high yield investment environment, because by the time you pay 20 million naira to pick up the form, then how much do you now spend to maneuver your way through to victory? And invariably, when the victory is handed over to the candidate, then there must be
somebody has to recoup.
Whether from your own account directly or from those who contributed. And that is why you find that some politicians will even sell their houses, sell their belongings just to go in there. And it's part of the challenges we have.
All right. Okay, let's go on a break briefly so that we'll come back to hear your view on this. You're watching TVC Breakfast and we're doing the headlines right now. Stay with us.
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Why are we changing our toothpaste?
Because with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, I can be sure your teeth are cavity free.
When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavity. Colgate is the world's most chosen toothpaste.
Colgate locks calcium in,
Keeps cavities out!
There are certain moments in the day when I need my me time to just unwind and indulge.
Now available in 30 grams and 450 grams.
The north is so beautiful. And the food, it's nothing like I have ever tasted before. The color,
vibrant. What about the aroma?
the aroma, oh gosh. It smells just like this one.
This smells so good.
Yeah. Your Dambo Shinkafa tastes even better. How did you do it?
Onga seasoning. It's all the seasonings you need for great taste and aroma.
Onga, Mama's helping hand.
All right, you're watching TVC Breakfast. We were looking at the headlines across Nigerian newspapers, and one of the headlines we're looking at is the one that talks about the issue of the cost of chairmanship forms for the political parties, especially for APC right now. The chairmanship forms go for 20 million naira, and the secretary and deputy and others go for 10 million, and then other officers go for 5 million. All right, now, Tunji, I'd like you to respond to this from the perspective of, at this point now, it is one of the most trendy things right now is the issue of gender balance and, involvement of women, especially seeing that we just talked about, or we just celebrated or commemorated International Women's Day. And we see this going on just less than a month. How many, when it comes to creating opportunities, how many women do you think this is going to keep them aside, or, talking about level playing field in that regard?
Unfortunately, I want to look at it generally, not about women alone.
Not
because
women.
It's not only women that will push aside. So many people, even men, so many young men, so many big men, so many people with intelligence, so many brilliant candidates will not be able to contest because of this. It's a big issue for us. I think this is where our problem starts from. When you have a situation whereby you impose a big amount of money for you, it's not like saying you want to employ what's it called, somebody to work for you, and you said for him to apply, he must pay so amount of money. You are saying, look, you can't, if you don't have money, you come and buy it, and when you get the job, you can do whatever you like with it. And that's why you see people. I can't imagine, because somebody who's coming to be a chairman or whatever is coming to serve. So why should they be paying such amount of money to apply for? Should we even pay for the form? Because what you are coming to do is to serve, not to just not business. You are not there for business. But the way I see it now is that they are saying, look, you are coming to enjoy, you are coming to take something, you are coming to have your what's it called, life changing business. Experience. So we have to pay for it. So in other words, that's why we see our people, when they get to government, they don't care about you because they pay so much of money to be able to get into that position. I think we need to look into this area. It's not only about women that will be such change. Men, young chaps, people with intelligence, people with they will have so many people with that are qualified. That because of this kind of a figure, they may not be able to partake.
All right. I generally wonder what parameters leads to pitching or pegging the amount that allocated to each of the forms that anyway posts that people are supposed to apply for, though, and all of that. A lot of Nigerians are quite concerned about this. It's not just the ruling party. Most of the parties have this so very high costs on their forms that they need to buy,
and that has translated democracy that should be a form of vehicle for good governance to business, because it's now like you are investing into it. And you even hear the billions of naira that must go into the campaigns, trying to persuade and even maneuver your way through the party before you even come to the general public. And again, we have this issue that, okay, under the new Electoral Act now, you must give money to INEC at least a year before the election. Look at how much went into 2019 election. If you look at the billions of naira that went to that election and you benchmark it with the dividends of democracy, can we justify it? And these are the series of questions. I mean, we are still talking about moribund refineries. We are still talking about national grid collapsing. We still have this blame trading between Gencos and Discos and and those who are transmitting, and yet Benin Republic enjoys power supply. Niger Republic enjoys power supply from Nigeria. You see, so we just spoke about subsidy. I read the report. If you know how many barrels of crude oil have been stolen from Nigeria, are they stolen by ghosts? No, by Nigerians. I said it at the time. I read the report. The NNPC is planning to begin to construct filling stations in Niger Republic to curb smuggling. So who is in charge of smuggling control? So you just hear all these things and you go back to section 15 subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, that puts a mandate on the state that the state shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office. So you find corruption holding down the nation. So who bails us out? And I think this is a question we keep asking.
That's all right.
So that we don't turn our assets to liabilities that we have done now.
All right.
Crude oil should be a source of prosperity to any nation
and blessing to any country. All right, we have to leave you here now. Thank you very much, Jide Ologun, for your time on the program.
God bless Nigeria.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, it's all right. I understand we have just a minute, so let me give that 1 minute to you regarding this. Now, when we talk about this political parties, now there's still the issue of consensus candidates independent candidates that people are clamoring for. In a situation where people are going to come out, if that works, if that law passes in that regard, and we're going to have independent candidates, some people say it's going to even cost more than the political party. Yeah. Because they need to set up structures. The political party already have the structure, so independent candidates may not have that kind of structure.
That's why I was one of those who said, look, whether independent candidates or political party system, it is not about the system itself. It's not about whether independency or not. It may not change anything because it will cost you more to operate as an individual than group. You need to, like you said, you need to set up structure. You need to maintain these structures. You need to do all over, across everywhere you are going. If it's local government, if it's state, if it's federation, you have to maintain all these structures, and you have to ensure that they are working. So So it's money, and it's going to be on your head as an individual. So if you can imagine you as an individual, that's, you know, the parties, they charge this huge amount of money for able to be able to conduct to do primary elections, for the purpose of election. In that way, when they want to mobilize, those are the money they will use in mobilizing people. And that's why most time I don't blame them when they charge this money. But unfortunately, it's affecting our system, and that's why I say we need to look at it. So independent candidacy may not change much from what is on ground in this regard. It will cost more money for you as an individual. You must have money for you as an individual to be able to do put through.
All right. Thank you. Well, let's leave it here now. Thank you very much, Tunji Abdulhamid, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jide. Thank you for coming.
God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.